All right, Grant. So how did that go for you?
I think it went good. Hopefully, I had enough in there for you.
I think you did.
Welcome to the Front Porch with Brian Beaudry.
First of all, I'd like to welcome today's guest, Grant Christopher, the president of Christopher Equipment. Grant, welcome to the Front Porch.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Let's start with the basics. Who are you? Where are you from? And why do you think you were listed on Rental Management's 12 to Watch Under 40 list?
So my name's Grant Christopher. I grew up and live and work in Tullahoma, Tennessee. It's in Middle Tennessee. We're a 4-location business. We get some stores in the surrounding cities. I'd like to think I was on that list because I'm growth oriented. I'm involved in the rental community, and I'm open to change and technology adoption in the rental industry.
All right. Well, that sounds good. See, with a name like Tullahoma, I expected it to be sort of near Oklahoma for some reason. I don't know why, but
No,
okay.
no, Middle Tennessee. It's a pretty unique name.
Okay. So do you remember, I ask everyone this, do you remember the first thing that you wanted to be growing up?
That's tough. I could never remember anything that I was strongly wanting to be. I remember when I was a kid, I said I wanted to be a paleontologist. I guess digging up fossils sounded pretty cool at the time, but yeah, I can't really.
Oh gosh, now I'm having to deal with people that are younger than me because it's like, all right, for me, obviously, Jurassic Park coming out is like the thing that really kind of helps paleontology. Did you see that, or was it something else that just general
No,
kids dinosaurs?
I guess it's general kid things. I don't know.
All right. So what was the closest you got to becoming a paleontologist? Did that die out pretty quick?
Yeah, that died out pretty quick, I'd say. So
Okay. But now you do different kinds of digs, I guess, if you're in equipment, right?
yeah, I just help people get the tools they need to dig in the dirt. I don't know if anyone's searching for fossils with my equipment, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please don't. The fossils are very delicate, if I remember correctly.
I don't know if we got the right tools for that.
All right, so you started off wanting to be a paleontologist. At what point, like, what are some of the other things you went through as you were growing up? What'd you do coming out of high school, I guess?
Well, it's tough. I grew up working in this business, so this was kind of my whole experience. I had a little brief stint where I thought I might want to be a dentist, but I enrolled in some classes in college that would put me on that track, and I figured out, I don't enjoy anything about that. So I came right back to business. And I just, I had a hard time picturing myself doing anything else. But yeah.
All right, grossest part about being a dentist. Like, what was the thing that made you say, nah, not this at all?
Well, I mean, the schoolwork was the first barrier. That was the first thing. I was like, well, that's gonna be a long time before I can even practice, and I don't even enjoy the classes. So I just quickly put a squash on that.
Yeah. For me, I think even getting through that part, just like the being in people's mouths and
I agree. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have liked that either.
All right. So if there's one takeaway for me from the write-up they did on you, well, I'll have to remember to link to this in the description. It's that you seem like a dynamic person. So is that something you've always been? Were you that kid that like your parents were just like, I got to put a leash on this kid or something because I can't control him?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was a pretty well-behaved kid, but I guess I like solving problems, and I kind of get bored if I get stuck doing the same thing every day. So I enjoy, learning new skills, figuring out how things work, and, what areas I can improve in the business or in my own personal life. Also, I can be kind of competitive in different areas. So, solving problems and making things better, there's some competition aspect to it, especially in business. So, I think that's kind of how it developed.
Yeah. Did that ever show up when you were a kid? Like, do your parents have this go-to story that they tell about you just sticking with something that you had to solve a problem and you just kept going, or no?
I mean, I've always just, I guess, liked figuring out how to do things for myself and not having to be dependent on other things. I was always into cars and stuff growing up, so I'd watch videos on how to work on them myself and do that. Back in high school, and I think that just you kind of just start learning skills like, well, I can figure that out, and then that just starts translating to other parts of your life. You don't necessarily need someone to teach you. You can teach yourself whatever you want. So.
For sure. And so you're building cars in high school. Is this building your first car type thing, or is it what's your first car?
Well, my first vehicle was a Nissan Titan, but I wouldn't say building cars, but modifying them or tinkering them or taking care of them. It's it was just a hobby I had, especially back then when I had more time. So I've had several cars since then. But
okay, so you're about optimization even at that age.
Yeah, just it's fun. It's something fun to do.
Okay, now you are president of Christopher Equipment. You are also, again, 12 to watch under 40. So you started pretty young.
Well, yes.
What was when did you start taking over Christopher Equipment?
So being second generation, like a lot of people, they grew up working in it, but it was really after I got out of college. I worked it as a summer job in high school and stuff and after school, but after college is really when I started taking it more serious. I came back, he put me in as a manager at one of our locations, and I kind of took that responsibility and grew that location up, and then kind of just kept taking different steps and learning different parts of the business. I have my CDL, I've done just about everything in the business, and but it was really after college I really started diving into what makes this business tick. What do we need to do to grow? What are some things we can do to make it better for our customers, our employees? So it was really after 2016 that I started working on all that.
Yeah, so it sounds like, I know in a lot of these generational changeovers, either basically one side is pushing for it a lot more than the other one. Sometimes the parent will be pushing their kids into it and saying no, you got to get ready to take over this because I'm about done here. And sometimes the kids all right, I'm ready for this. You sound like you were ready for it.
Yeah. I feel like my family had a unique situation. Me and my dad get along great, and I don't think we didn't have a single argument our whole working career. A lot of people, their families, they can't work together. Yeah. We get along great. I guess it was 7 years of working here after college, and it was just, you gotta plan ahead, especially in family business. I got a sibling to think about. She's not in the business, but it's something you got to think about and plan for. Because if it goes wrong, you can really have some issues in your family or business or both. So it went really well. We just started talking about it, came up with a plan, and got it done. So
awesome. So how's that relationship kind of working now? Is he still a president emeritus where he's just still around to give you all this advice, or is it all right, you go do your own thing now, Dad?
Oh no, I would classify him as one of my best mentors for sure. But as far as him coming in day to day, no, it doesn't happen. But if I ever need help, I know he's always there for me. So yeah, it's he's still around, but only when he wants to be.
Nice. That feels like the best possible role is be around only when you want to be.
I think everybody's happy.
Yeah. Okay, so you start off leading one place. When do you know that you're ready to be okay, I can run this entire organization now?
It's just, I don't know. It just slowly happens. You just kind of, you learn different little parts of the business, and you kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on and how to do things. And eventually you kind of just feel like you can. And I don't think anybody ever feels like they're ready, but eventually you're going to have to, and your support's there to give you advice and help you get through situations, and you just got to trust that it'll all work out. So I can't say I was just oh yeah, I got this. Is more I think I can do this, and I know he can help me if I can't. So it all it'll all work out, if you're willing to work for it.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good mentality to have. You start realizing that no one actually had all the answers when they started.
Exactly. Nobody ever has all the answers, even after doing it for years.
Yeah. Okay. So you take over Christopher Equipment. What's kind of like the first thing that you want to do now that it's yours?
That's tough. So my first year, my son was born. So I bought the business. My son was born, and we switched rental software to Point of Rental all in 1 year. So that was a hectic year. We were on some rental software we've had for probably like 20 years. It was outdated, and we're outgrowing it. We've been outgrown it. But changing rental software is not a easy thing to do. So I eventually just said this needs to happen, and we made it happen, and it all worked out great.
That sounds like a really stressful year, and
it was, but it was challenging in a fun way.
I talked to Alex as well, and he had like this whole terrible year where they were going through it. Oh yeah, his dad died the same year that his first child was born, and it's like, man, that seems like a heck of a,
always, yeah.
It seems like it would be really tough to lead through having all these changes going on. Anyway, since you started Christopher Equipment, you've added a location. Congratulations. And you implemented the new software. So which was the bigger challenge?
So I would say opening a location is probably a bigger challenge than software. Software, the biggest parts of that are data transfer, implementation, and training. Especially if you've been around for a while and you're a multi-location business, making sure all your assets and customer data and, receivables get transferred over without losing anything. And then just getting new policies and procedures in place for operating with the new software. And then obviously training everybody to use it, when they're used to, this is how we do this process. And then everything's in a different spot and everything looks different. I mean, it takes a lot of time, but it's all doable, and we handled it way better than I had built it up to be in my head, which it's been great. I've loved the change. Location, there's so many variables with that. Staffing being the hardest part, probably. Getting some good people you trust to operate the way you want them to in a place that you're not going to be at. So I'd say there's more variables in the location side of it.
How did you handle that process? Because I know that there's obviously you can try to move people from one branch to another, or you can try to hire directly for that branch. How did you approach it?
That particular one, it was a market people have been asking us to come to, and actually I had an employee working at another location that lived there, and he's like, hey, you need to do this and I'll run it for you. And we're like, okay. And it was a little more complicated than that, but that was the base of how it went. And then off of him, we knew he was a good star player. So off of him, we built up a staff and an inventory to where we want to be. You're not going to open the doors and be where you want day one. It's a work in progress, but with some good people there and some effort, you can really get to be what you want it to be.
For sure. So that whole process starts with him coming to you, or just like you'd had this idea because people had requested it in the past? Like, obviously, having never opened a business, it feels like a big commitment to me to be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this whole thing come from nothing in this area.
It kind of was several factors. One of them was him saying that and a customer demand, and we found a location that was affordable that would work good for being a rental store, because finding locations that will work as a rental store can be a challenge. You need a mixture of a little bit of retail, a little bit of warehouse and shop space, yard space. You don't want to be just in the middle of nowhere. You want to be somewhere in town. So finding a place that kind of hits those factors can be a challenge. So everything kind of just aligned, and we just went for it, and it's worked out great.
Awesome. So everything's worked out great. You have all this benefit of hindsight now. Is there anything
But,
that you wish you knew beforehand? Like if you could go back and tell yourself something before that, what would you tell yourself?
well, I was happy with how that went, but I think going forward, one piece of advice I learned would be, at the time I was thinking, oh, I'll just greenfield every location because, I know how to get the equipment. I know how to, set everything up. I want to pay a premium. But I think acquisitions can be a good, they have their place because you're buying an existing business with proven revenue numbers, existing employees, existing customers. So even if it's not like what you would do, you can get that business changed around and hopefully add value. So there's two ways to doing it. And I used to just think there's one. So I've been looking at both options going forward.
All right. Yeah. I was going to say, is this something you're looking at now or?
I mean, I'm always looking. Yeah. I'm always looking to grow. So hopefully we'll find the right opportunity.
So we're not gonna break any news here on
No.
when this gets played in like a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite part of running the show? You're in charge of 4 locations. So what's your favorite part of being in charge of that?
I really like, I guess in the basic form of it, it's fun being able to implement changes and then see a measurable result. I guess it's fun to, I enjoy looking for ways to improve different parts of the business, and then being able to see like, oh yeah, that made this person's life better, or, our receivables are better or whatever, it's fun. It's like problem solving different parts and working towards a solution. It's pretty rewarding.
Yeah, that's something that I hear a lot is just, being able to impact people's lives and create a bunch of positive change and see that fairly quickly. So cool. Now, I've never been to any of the state level events with ARA. What's your experience been like with the ARA Tennessee Board of Directors?
I've enjoyed it. As far as like the ARA, the Tennessee stuff, I really like the meetings and stuff because of the networking aspect. So being on the board of directors, it's been nice to have some influence and, having some events that I think are beneficial to people that want to come. It's so almost basically free to attend those events a lot of times. And, just being able to discuss with your peers different problems you're having or what you're doing in this situation. It's such a good return on investment to just go to one of those because, you can pick up one piece of information that will change, how you do business, at a Predators game or wherever, Top Golf. So it's fun being able to plan those and attend them and get some good ideas from my fellow peers.
Yeah, that's what most of the events are, is just basically you guys all get together, go, somewhere that seems fun and network and discuss ideas.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Sometimes there's speakers and other things, but the networking aspect's my favorite part of it.
Awesome. Is there anyone in particular that has given you like a great nugget of advice recently?
I joined peer executive groups, and I had my first meeting last month, and I got too much advice. I got so much to work on now; it's almost overwhelming. But it's awesome. Those guys are super intelligent and data driven, and it's just, yeah, it was worth going for sure. I couldn't believe I didn't sign up for it sooner. There's just so much you could do.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've kind of gotten into coaching and a bunch of other types of podcasts recently. And it's like, now there's so many things that I need to improve. And there's so many things.
Exactly. Things you didn't even know existed. You're like, I need to be doing that now.
Like, I thought it was good. I guess I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, I already kind of asked about this, but, I'll ask again. Do you have any plans for yourself in the near future for yourself or Christopher Equipment?
So whenever you guys release e-commerce, I plan on getting on board as soon as that's released. I got the rental hosting, website right now, but that just says quote requests. So I'm excited to implement that when that comes out. That's the only thing
Nice. I was just talking with our product marketing manager about that, like right before our meeting. So,
maybe you can give me
it's on its way.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right. All right. Before we get into other things, I want to play a game with you. We'll call it Grant or Can't. If you agree with the statement or it's true, say Grant. And if you disagree with it or it's not true, say Can't. And then I'm going to need a reason for each of them.
Okay.
All right. Grant or Can't, you've been known to cry at movies.
I'd say can't. I'm not a super emotional person at movies, or most of the time.
Okay, there's not even those sentimental ones. Like, I don't know, so different ones hit different, I guess.
Yeah, I would say generally can't on that.
All right. Grant or Can't, you've cheated at a board or card game.
Can't. Don't like cheaters, and I would take the fun out of the victory.
All right, good policy. Grant or Can't, you've told an outrageous lie to a child. You said that you had a kid, so.
Yeah, Grant, I'm sure I have, but I can't recall any specific examples to share right now.
All right, darn. Well, those are some of my favorites, is when people tell the silly things that I was like, oh man, I should have been telling my kid this the whole time.
Yeah, he's only one yet, so I'm sure I'll get some more in a year or two when you start talking.
You can listen to some other podcasts and hear some of the other ideas that people have had.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Grant or Can't, your favorite fast food fries are from McDonald's.
I can't say I dislike them, but I don't think they're the best.
What is
Chick-fil-A,
the best?
Probably Chick-fil-A with like some Chick-fil-A sauce. It's hard to beat those.
Okay, you're a waffle fry guy. Okay. Grant or Can't, you have an embarrassing nickname or a nickname that you hate.
I'd say can't. I can't really think of any embarrassing nicknames that I had to deal with for an extended period of time. I'm sure, some people made some stuff up, but nothing that I had to. Nothing followed me around.
Okay, I was gonna say it sounded like you said, you were saying, yeah, some people may have made some nicknames I didn't like for a little while, but I put an end to that real quick.
Well, yeah, you could put a Y on the end of my name, and I could be Grantee, which sounds like Granny. I guess that would be, but wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, that one doesn't really hit hard.
Quick, what's the tax on UV sunglasses in London? Don't know? We do. Business is changing fast. Every new way to produce, procure, and sell creates tax complexity. That's where Vertex comes in. We're right here at the corner of commerce and compliance, powering trusted transactions and confident decisions. Vertex is intelligent software jacked into the beating heart of global commerce, backed by powerful content and people who get tax and tech. I know what you're thinking. Nobody grows up saying, I'm going into tax compliance, except sometimes they do. And those people work at Vertex. You know who they work with? Over half the Fortune 500, that's who. So you keep making whatever these are. We'll keep building world-class tax tech. By the way, the tax on those shades, 12 British pounds. Vertex, tax technology at the speed of business.
Now, before we get into the required questions, one thing that I do with everyone's name is I have to break down the potential names or nicknames associated with it. I've never heard anyone with a last name Christopher shorten it to Chris, but you could sort of have your business be Chris Equip. And that kind of sounds clean. Have you ever considered that?
Well, it was named before I got a choice in it, but Chris Equip does sound pretty cool. I might have to steal that.
All right.
As far as nicknames for the business, or I've heard Chris EQ. I guess it's short for Christopher Equipment, or people call us Christopher Rentals all the time. But Chris Equip's pretty good. I do like that.
All right. Well, you can have it if you decide to use it. I won't ask for anything. You mentioned in your write-up that you're looking at e-commerce and AI solutions. You've already mentioned a little bit of the e-commerce, but what AI tools are you looking at, or have you already implemented?
Well, as far as implementation, the only thing I've really done has been use ChatGPT. So using that for like social media posts, idea generation, procedure generation, other things like that is good for just getting some ideas on a page, and then you can work off that. I'm not, copy and pasting isn't great, but it can really get some good content organized in a way that gives you a good starting place, especially if you're struggling to kind of figure out what to do. So I found that very handy just for myself. And then as far as what's coming, I think like if Point of Rental had AI implementation, like the rental hosting, if they had a chat bot, that knew your rental inventory, could help customers, if they need say I need to dig a trench, this deep, it would know what you have and be able to make recommendations to them based on, what's in your inventory. I think that'd be very helpful because a lot of questions are simple questions, and I think AI could probably help with a lot of that, and that would take the stress off your counter guys or whoever's taking those calls. They might have to be better educated on what they want before they even call. Analytics, I feel like AI could help analyze some of what's going on in your rental store, especially from a software side. Looking at it yourself, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of data out there, and maybe if it could help take a look at that and produce some sort of outcome, I think it could help there. And then dynamic pricing, it could probably help in dynamic pricing. I know there's a lot of talk of that, but it's not really out yet for a lot of people. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Those sound like definitely good ideas. And I think that the chatbot would even be helpful for people that, sometimes when I want to rent stuff, I don't want to appear dumb or I might not want to appear dumb when I go talk to the rental person. I'm fine with it overall, because it's like, I don't know this stuff. This is why I'm coming to you. But
yeah.
It could help people with like, hey, get some of the simple questions answered, and then they just feel more comfortable with you going forward. So
yeah, and there's a lot of times where you hang up and you're like, man, I meant to ask this and this, and it's
and you don't want to call right back and be like, hey.
Yeah, I think it would have its place, and I think people would get value out of it, even if it's not perfect.
Sure.
And I thought of one more thing was like product descriptions on your website, being able to have AI help with that, because we just went through all that last year. It's a very manual process, a very tedious process if you want to do it right. So having a little help putting some of that content in there would be nice.
All right, good news. Well, you're setting us up for some promoting of some things, but I'm not going to promote them. Dang it. We'll let you.
No.
We'll wait for.
Well, I want to hear about them. Yeah.
You're coming to an international conference. You'll hear plenty about it there. So.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing when you're not renting? Are you one of those 24/7 business mindset guys, or do you have fun away from there?
No, I definitely have fun away from there. When I go home, I do try to turn my mind off of work, because so I can be present like for my wife and son. Sometimes I have difficulty, like if I'm real excited about something or I'm got an issue that I having trouble solving, I'll take it home, but try to leave it at work. I'm here 10 hours a day most days, so it's need to have some time to do other things. So then I have my other hobbies that I enjoy doing, so try to keep it balanced.
For sure. What are some of those other hobbies?
I like lifting weights, and I still like tinkering with cars if I have time. Jet skis, boats, just anything with a motor I enjoy playing on. So now that I have a son, time's a little more precious, so I've slowed down on some of that, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you're going to start getting him into that stuff, but I was like, lifting weights not really good for a toddler. That's probably not the best idea.
His first word was car, so I think we're on a good track for getting him interested in some of that.
All right, good. So yeah, kids can be pretty helpful when you're out there working on any type of machine, really.
Yeah, nearly hold the flashlight.
Yeah, you just have to be a lot more patient than I am. When I had my daughter young enough to want to help me, and I would get so frustrated that she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go away now."
Yeah.
All right. What excites you about the future? You said you're very future focused and looking forward to new things. What excites you about the future of the industry, let's say?
Industry wide, I think really it'd be technology adoption. I feel like, we're equipment rental, equipment definitely evolved and adapted over the years, but it's kind of the same, where technology, I feel like the rental industry as a whole is just very slow to adopt anything new. So I'm excited to see, what sort of value will be added. I know swapping to point rental really helped me with my business, and but there's all sorts of opportunities with telematics or AI or whatever, that I feel like we're still young in as an industry, and looking forward to seeing where it's going to go.
All right, and you're wanting other people to catch up with you, or is it you're just always going to be ahead of everyone else because you're...
Well, I would like to be ahead for sure, but more options is good for everybody, and I think there will be a lot of value that's going to be coming down the line with the addition of e-commerce and other features that'll bring us more in line with what's going on in other industries.
Awesome. Now, what excites you about the future of your business in particular? Christopher Equipment, why are you excited about being there?
So I guess I'm excited about just future opportunities and growth. I still got several years of a career left, so I'm excited to see, you can get a lot done when you put your mind to it. And, I'm excited to see, where we can end up 10 years from now. It's, gonna be a fun challenge.
Awesome. Well, then you won't be able to be, an achiever under 40 anymore, but I think
maybe, yeah. We'll do 9 years.
That's maybe the one thing that you can't do at that point. Okay, and then just overall in general as a person, what excites you about the future?
I guess just personal and family growth. I got, we can get to watch my kid grow up and see what he's interested in and spend time with him, and hopefully we share some good hobbies together. So I'm just excited to see what's coming down the road.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a real easy one to answer when you have a 1-year-old at home. It's like, there's definitely a lot to be...
a lot of time left there. So
yeah. Okay. What's something that people misunderstand about you?
I guess I'm naturally pretty introverted. I don't know if that's a misunderstanding, but some people might not realize.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I didn't really read you one way or the other, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions for me? You get exactly one. I get to ask most of the questions, but you can have one.
Okay. Well, I was wanting to ask you, when will e-commerce be released? But I kind of asked you that earlier. So
yeah, I was going to say you can't pin me down on that one. I'm not in control of releasing it. So
no. Okay. Does that take up my one?
Yeah, unless you have another good one.
What were some of the AI integrations you were mentioning earlier?
Dang it. Quit. You're not allowed to grill me on these questions because this will be released in October. So I don't know what will be out and what will be not out by then. So I'm not going to answer these.
You can email me later.
Yeah. All right. So before we get to the 5 important questions, I need you to give me a top 5 list in a segment we'll call Give Me 5. Now, it seems like not everyone knows the rules of a good 5 list. You got to start at number 5 and go up to number 1. Did you have a list already prepared for me?
Yeah, I think so.
What is your top 5 list that we got today?
Let's see here. So top 5 software features. Number 5, I like some of the automation tools that Point Rental offers.
Like what's been automated for you?
Well, a lot of it's just a lot of reporting, and then there's like automated invoicing of customers with email. Like a lot of it's pretty simple stuff, but when you come from not having it, like all that stuff really saves you a lot of times, like emailed statements and just having all that set up automated where it just fires it off when it needs to. Way less manual interaction, less paperwork. So I've enjoyed that.
For sure. All right, number 4.
Customer facing website. I like the rental hosting. I used to do all my own website design and everything. And I think I did okay at it, but one big thing is integration. If you change your prices or added a new piece of equipment, you had to manually go change everything. So it's nice just having an auto update, and then you get, the customer portal, and all those other features along with it. So I've really enjoyed having that. I think it looks great. I think it provides a lot of information for our customers, and it's definitely worth the expense to have.
All right, I'm going to ask you more about how you got into designing your own websites, but we'll save that till after the list. All right, what's number 3 on your top 5 software features?
Reporting and analytics, probably. So I didn't have my reports and stuff from my old software weren't great. And part of that might've been our fault. If you put garbage in your software, you're going to get garbage out. So when we switched, we worked really hard at, creating good equipment categories, creating good customer types, and really getting everything nice and organized. So the data we were getting back out of it was, useful. And I've really, it's been helpful to see for sure.
Yeah, we're dealing with some of that over in the marketing team of just dealing with like the passive. Let's just get it out and not worry about how it's all set up. And now it's like we really should have set this up intentionally and really planned through this.
Yeah, it takes time, but it's worth it in the end for sure.
Yep. All right, number 2.
So I made this list. I put AI integration, and I don't know why I put that because I don't know if there's anything released yet. Maybe I was looking forward to that.
I was going to say, already looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just going to leave that there.
Maybe by the time this comes out, that will be your favorite thing. Again, I don't want to promise a release date.
Yeah, that's right. And then
number 1.
Number 1, which I guess is kind of looking in the future a little bit, would just be good advanced inventory management with e-commerce capability, which I know we're almost there, but I think that'll be nice. And again, it goes back to if you give your software good data, you'll get you'll get good data out. So if you don't put stuff in IROs and IMOs and things like that, then you're going to have some issues with e-commerce. So it really comes down to how much effort you put into making sure the information it sees is correct.
Yeah. So what excites you the most about e-commerce? You keep bringing it up and you're very excited about it. Why is e-commerce such a big deal for you?
To me, e-commerce is it's like a salesman that doesn't take time off. It's he's there 24/7, 365 days a year. He's working every day. He doesn't call out. It's, to me, younger generation, I look at, if I'm looking up a business I want to, someone I want to do business with, or, I don't know the area, I don't know what's going on, I'll look at their Google My Business page, see, do they got some good content there? Do they get reviews? What's their competition look like? And then I'll check out their website. And, based on those two things, I'll make a pretty big impression on how that company is run. And is that someone I want to spend my money with? And, some rental stores, they put almost zero effort into those. And I feel like maybe that worked 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but I think it's becoming more and more important because that's your face to the internet world. And if you don't put some effort in, some time in, then you're just wasting time.
For sure. Okay, now I do want to circle back around to web design. How do you get started in that? Is that something that you did in school at any point, or is that just something where you're like, I'll figure it out?
Well, I don't even know if you want to classify me as a web designer. I would use Site Builder or one of those websites and build it out like I wanted and put all the information in there. So I wasn't writing any code or anything, but I would take the time to design the website and update it and everything. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
okay.
I was self-taught.
Yeah, I was going to say that's about the level that I ever did anything at. It's like, they have these builders for a reason. Why would I have to learn all this stuff?
Yeah. I didn't need anything crazy, so it worked for the time.
All right. Now let's get into the 5 important questions.
5 important questions. 5 important questions? 5 important questions.
Sorry, everything we've done to this point. Kind of irrelevant. All right, number 1, what would you say is your greatest success in life?
I feel like the obvious answer is my wife and son. I got really lucky with them, so I can't ask for anything better there.
Okay, what's your other answer? Because that one is definitely always the easy answer to go with.
Yeah, I'm real proud of our family's business, and we work really hard at it, and I think I'm proud of where we've gotten, and I'm excited to see where we're going. So, I just think it's awesome. My dad started a great thing, and I hope to continue it.
Yeah, must be doing pretty well if it's made it through a couple generations now and it's growing, and that sounds like it's pretty good. What's your greatest fear?
I don't like lightning, at least when I'm outside. So I'm not a big fan of lightning or sharks, I guess.
Okay, so lightning and sharks combined, extra
Yeah,
terrifying for you.
that'd be terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, watch out when you're on. Be careful when you're on your jet skis.
Yeah, for real.
All right. If you could tell first day in the industry Grant one piece of advice, what would you tell him?
Don't take everything personally. It's easy to, take every issue that comes your way as a personal attack, and that's just too stressful. Sometimes you just got to remember business is business, and those things happen, and it's not because they don't like you or whatever. It's just it's the way it goes. So maybe not take everything so personally, because you'll spend a lot of time stressing about things that aren't really important in the long run.
Yeah. Is there a specific example that you can think of whenever you were younger? Because I know it's easy to take things a lot more personally when you're younger, for sure.
A lot of it's just inexperience, but if you spend all this time helping a customer, and then it comes time to pay the bill and they don't answer you anymore. It's just you could put that on anything. It's just easy to take that personally when it's your business, and you just can't do that.
Yeah. Okay. What's your most embarrassing moment in the industry?
I've definitely had my fair share of mistakes. I can't really say I'm embarrassed about too much. It's usually so if I go.
All right. What's your worst mistake then? You don't have to be embarrassed about it.
Well, I would say usually it's if the shop sees me coming to help with something that I don't need to be helping with, I'll end up making more work for them to fix after I leave. So I needed to learn my lesson and just stay out of there and let them do their jobs.
All right. Sorry you've been sentenced to death as now helping when it's unnecessary in the shop is a capital offense. I'm sorry about this turn of events, but what's your last meal and why?
I'd probably get a mixture of steak and sushi, and then probably a rum and coke to wash it down.
All right, another rum and coke guy. You want any dessert with this or no?
I'm not a big dessert guy, but I would take some since my last meal.
I was gonna say if it's my last meal. All right. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I'd like to be more relaxed. Sometimes I've wound up tight, and if I could relax, I'd probably be a little happier sometimes. But probably be able to just being able to relax a little more.
See, I feel like when you have a Tennessee accent, you sound relaxed, even if you're not necessarily relaxed. You sound very relaxed talking.
I don't know about that.
If you could change one thing about the rental industry, what would it be?
I mentioned it earlier, but it was basically increased technology adoption, and I think we're working that way as a whole. So, yeah, technology.
Okay. Tell me a secret about the rental industry, something not enough people know about.
Oh, I don't know any secrets. A good shop can make or break your own store. Your staff is the most important part of your rental business. I don't think those are any secrets. But
I was going to say, I don't know if those are secrets, but
I couldn't think of any secrets.
okay.
Don't rent paint sprayers. They're a pain in the butt.
Okay. So, all right, that's a secret, at least for people who haven't rented them yet. Because I've definitely seen in the forums or on Facebook groups or whatever, a lot of people say these are terrible and no one should do them. Okay, I've noticed when people in this industry travel, they usually like to visit local rental operations and kind of do a tour and say hi to people. If someone's dropping by Tullahoma and Christopher Equipment, what are you going to show them that's going to make them say, I really need to take that back to my shop?
I'd like to think so. I hold our locations to high standards on equipment quality and store cleanliness. So hopefully I can inspire some people on that. Some people, rental stores are dirty by nature, so I don't think they have to be that way. So I'm real proud of what we hold ourselves to. So probably that.
Awesome. Is there anything that I didn't ask about that I should have asked about that the people need to know about Grant Christopher?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
All right, then I guess we'll call it good. Grant, thank you for chatting today. I want to say also thank you to Andrew Sherrington for editing this by the time it gets to our audience. And thanks to everyone that made it to this point with us. Please rate, subscribe, review, share it with other people so we can keep talking to people like Grant and keep learning about more experts within the rental industry. We'll keep the porch light burning for you. You would think I would remember the sign off by now, but no, I don't.